Her hands were shaking as she pushed a tangled pile of gold chains and rings toward me. "I don't think it's much," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I've seen that look, a mix of hope and desperation, countless times. People bring in their memories, their last chances." I picked up my loupe and examined the gold, feeling its unexpected weight. Each piece told a story, a worn necklace, a scratched wedding band. This wasn't just metal, it was a life. She watched, eyes wide, as I placed the gold on the scale. The numbers climbed, 100, 500, 1,000. Her gasp was sharp as the number kept rising. This is the moment I never get tired of, the instant when someone's world changes. Most people underestimate what they have. The scale finally stopped, glowing bright green. I looked up and met her eyes. "You said you were hoping for a couple $100s, I said, letting the moment build. She nodded, biting her lip, probably thinking about which bills she could pay. I pointed to the scale. "What you have here is worth a lot more." I paused. "This is over $10,000. Her jaw dropped. Silence. Then, tears. In that moment, the shop faded away. It was just her, the gold, and a future she hadn't dared to imagine. I see it all the time. People walk in with what they think is junk and walk out with hope. That's the real magic of this place. It's not about the gold or the money, it's about the moment when someone realizes their life can change. The anticipation, the surprise, the relief, it never gets old. Every day I get to witness these $10,000 moments, and every time, it reminds me why I do this job. Not for the gold, but for the stories, for the chance to give someone a new beginning. That's the true weight of what we do here, and it's worth more than gold. The day before, an elderly woman shuffled in, carrying a heavy cloth bag. She poured out a stream of large shiny coins, old silver dollars, she said, collected by her late husband. They looked impressive, but something felt off. I picked one up, too light. The details were soft, I ran a magnet over them, some stuck. Real silver isn't magnetic. I had to break the news. These were replicas, not worth much. Her face fell as she packed the coins away, disappointment heavy in her eyes. She picked up the old, rusty tin box she'd brought them in, a faded biscuit tin. "Wait," I said, "can I see that?" I'd seen one like it in an auction catalog, a rare promotional item from the early 1900s. Despite the dents and scratches, the artwork was mostly intact. These tins can be incredibly collectible. I did a quick search. Even in this condition, it was worth several $100s. The coins were replicas, I told her, but this tin is the real treasure. Her disappointment turned to shock. She walked out with more money than she ever expected, all from the box she thought was worthless. Sometimes the real value is hidden in plain sight. It's not always what you think. That's the beauty of this business. You never know what will turn out to be a treasure. And sometimes the thing you overlook is the thing that changes everything. That's why I always look twice. Every day is a parade of stories. A construction worker pawns his tools to fix his truck. He'll be back for them. A young musician pawns his beloved guitar to buy a new amp for tonight's gig. He's not selling it. He's betting on himself. A couple comes in, laughing, trading in an engagement ring to buy a new one together. Not every story is about desperation. Some are about new beginnings. In between, there's a steady stream of laptops, game consoles, watches, and jewelry. A teenager sells a game system for concert tickets. A mother sells a gold chain to pay for her daughter's dance lessons. Each item has a purpose. Each person has a reason. They walk in with an object and leave with an opportunity. Money is a tool, and we provide access to it. We're part of the community's ecosystem, a place where the past finances the present. It's a cycle I see every day. Not every transaction is born from crisis. Some are about building a future. Some are about letting go. But all of them are about hope. That's what keeps the doors open. That's what keeps me coming back. The stories never stop. The week was already remarkable, but in this business, surprises are routine. One quiet afternoon, my son Corey called me over. A well-dressed, nervous man had brought in a small, leather-bound book. Moby Dick, he claimed, a first edition. The book was old, the story believable, but I buy the item, not the tale. I examined it. The font, the paper, the binding. Something was off. The publisher wasn't right, the binding too clean, likely a forgery. But then, tucked inside the back cover, I found a folded letter. The ink was faded, the handwriting clear, dated 1852. It was from a sailor to his wife, describing a whaling voyage and a captain obsessed with a white whale. The details mirrored Moby Dick's plot. My heart pounded. The book was a red herring. The real treasure was the letter, a genuine piece of maritime history. Sometimes the story you're sold isn't the story that matters. The real value is hidden, waiting to be discovered. That's the thrill of this job. You never know what's tucked inside, waiting to change everything. The man came in hoping for a fortune from a book. He left with something far more valuable, a piece of history. In this business, the real finds are rarely what you expect, and that's what keeps it interesting. Back to the woman with the gold. Her name was Sarah. Her tears weren't just about the money, they were relief. As we finished the paperwork, she shared her story. Single mother, 2 kids, 2 jobs, still falling behind. Her car broke down. Repairs over $1,000 she didn't have. She gathered every piece of jewelry she owned, hoping it would be enough. She never imagined it was worth $10,000. As I counted out the cash, she stared in disbelief. This wasn't just fixing her car, it was a new beginning. I can pay off my debts, she said, voice shaking. I can move to a safer place for my kids. She looked at the gold, then tapped her heart. The memories aren't in the gold. They're in here. This money will create new memories for my children. The weight of the gold was nothing compared to the weight lifted from her shoulders. This is the side of the pawn business people don't see. We're not just buying and selling stuff, we're dealing in hope. That $10,000 wasn't just cash, it was freedom. It was a second chance. After the Moby Dick book, I called in Mark, a document specialist. He spent an hour with the letter, examining every detail. The man who brought it in had no idea about its significance. Mark confirmed it. The letter was authentic, a genuine piece of maritime history. The book was worth $100. The letter was priceless. We negotiated a price. The man left stunned, with money and a new appreciation for his family's past. Every item is a time capsule. The biscuit tin was a piece of history. The guitar, a vessel for dreams. The gold, a record of a woman's life. The letter, a voice from the past. We don't just deal in objects, we deal in stories. That's what makes this job fascinating. Every day, a new story walks through the door. And sometimes, the story is worth more than the object itself. That's the real business we're in. At the end of a week like this, you reflect. The shop is a museum of everyday life, filled with stories waiting to be told. Value is often hidden in plain sight. The real treasure was the rusty tin, not the fake coins. The letter, not the book. The young woman's gold, not just metal, but a new beginning. People come in looking for money, but what they really need is a solution. My job is to see the potential they can't. To look at tangled chains and see a future. To look at an old box and see history. It's about finding the story beneath the surface. That's the treasure hunt I go on every day. The most valuable thing isn't gold or diamonds, it's the human connection. It's the stories. It's the look on someone's face when they realize their junk is their salvation. Everything has a story and everything has a price. But the stories, those are priceless. And you never know what's coming through that door next.
What's something people don't know about stories? They never truly end. There's always a new adventure waiting for you. Just pick your next tale and I'll meet you there. Subscribe to the Story Circle and let me know which story I should tell next in the comments.